Hello everyone, this is Suresh Kumar, working as Assistant Professor, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Dundigal, Hyderabad. Today we will discuss about the main course of the Hydrology and Water Resource Maintaining. It is a part of rainwater harvesting. Today in this, what is the contents we have to be discussed. Introduction to what is the rainwater harvesting, what is the importance of the rainwater harvesting, and objectives of the rainwater harvesting and methods of the rainwater harvesting. Here, let us see there is a lot of in the decreasing the rainfall due to the urbanization. So what happens? The rainfall will be day by day decreasing due to concrete top and no in the F type area will not be required. So that's why the and also urbanization is very important. In this urbanization, what happens? The pollution is always increasing, and also what happens? The rainfall will be the year by year. Let us see the discuss in the last 2 to 3 decades. Totally, this is decreasing the rainfall, and decreasing the rainfall in the sense what happens? Already the groundwater level will also be decreases due to the rainfall. So that's why we have to protect the water. So some of the techniques can be used to protect the water which is available of the water. Let us see that one. Here the heavy rainwater harvesting is harvest nothing but you have to protect the and use of the water. The drinking of the water in the summer area peak years, the water can be also be decreasing the bore levels. So that's why you have to be which is some of the techniques can be applied. This can be used in the public buildings as well as many of the industrial areas. So this storage or retention of the water. Here the harvesting, what we have to be purposes, the water which is available in the rainfall, most of the water can be wastely can go through the drainages. What we will do here, we will protect the water and store the water, and it can be reuse the water. That is the main purpose of the harvesting techniques. Let us see the rainwater harvesting. Let us see in the diagram how to be in. So rainwater harvesting, let us the rooftop water is available in the roof. What happened? The runoff, the water will be comes from the top due to the pipeline and stored one tank and main tank, and it can be converted into the main tank. And main tank, what happens? The water can be reused for the gardening the purposes and the toilet flushing and car washing and also the cloth washing, and the some of the water can be after some purification can be sent to the wells. So these are this different type of some of the areas the pure water will not be available. That's why the rainwater can be collected and stored, and it can be used some of the purposes what we have to be discussing here. Let us see what is rainwater harvesting. The water is the most precious thing, as we know very well, something most of the take care of the granted. So the now increasing the ground level of the water, and also importance to reuse the water can be supplied to the content just like the Australia. So in the what is the importance of the rainwater harvesting? And the importance of the harvesting of the rainwater simply involves it can be collected the water and from the surface on which the rain of the falls, and subsequently storing of this water for this later use. Normally the water is collected from the roofs, buildings, and the stores, and rainwater tanks will be collected. This is very common on the rural and urban areas. And it can be also be collected some of the dams and rain falling of the groundwater producing the runoff. So what is meant by runoff? After all the losses, means evaporation losses or infiltration losses, the water which is flowing above the ground, we called it as the rainwater or the runoff. Okay. So what happens? The runoff will be the increases due to the infiltration capacity will be the more. So the runoff will be the increases, infiltration capacity will be the less. Just by in the topic of the discussed in the previous topics, you have to discuss about the runoff. Next, the objectives of the rainwater harvesting. What is the main object of rainwater harvesting? To increase the demand of the water. So it means that the increasing due to increasing the population and urbanization and rapid growth of the developments, what happened to increasing the demand of the water will be the day by day. So that's why this will be some of the harvesting techniques can be necessary to have to be provided. Even the municipal corporations is also force will be while giving the permission to the high-rise buildings, compulsorily have to be provided harvesting pits. That is the mandatory, they are to be incorporated in the conditions also while giving the permissions. So next, to reduce the runoff, which is the works of the drains. As I told, the runoff will be the wastewater can be waste flowing above the ground and which is comes to meet the drainage and can be outside. So no use at all. So that's why you have to some protecting of the rainwater harvesting techniques. It can be collecting the water and due to the infiltration, slowly the water levels can be, groundwater levels can be automatically increases. So next, to avoid the flooding of the roads. So the due to the heavy rains, what happens? The heavy water will be, which is wastely flowing in the flooding of the roads. So if you are providing the harvesting techniques can be provided, what happens? The water can be do not be waste. The most of the water can be utilized for the as well as drainage purpose as well as the increasing of the ground levels. Next, to raise the underground water level, as I told, so automatically the runoff will be decreases due to applying the techniques. What happens? The groundwater, due to the infiltration techniques, the groundwater will be the also level also by increases. Next, reduce the groundwater pollutions. How the groundwater pollutions due to the water which is, as I told, the water which is flood flowing in the ground, the waste of the impurities will be added in the rainwater. So what happens due to the infiltration techniques and also the rainwater harvesting pits? What happens? It can be filtered. Only the water can be allowed inside the ground. So that is the also can be some of the decreasing the pollution. To reduce the soil erosion. So the runoff, what happens due to the heavy runoff? The water is flowing in the above, and it can be water erosion in the sides due to the heavy floods times and rainy seasons. It can also be erosion will be the decreases. How it can be decreases? Due to the providing the harvesting the pits, it can be also be decreasing the. Next, supplying the water, supplement domestic of the needs. So the automatically the groundwater increases. What happens due to the bore wells after purified? The supplement of the water, domestic needs can be also be fulfilled. Next, methods of the rainwater harvesting. The methods of the rainwater harvesting, what happens? Broadly, there are two ways of the harvesting of the rainwater: surface runoff harvesting and rooftop rainwater harvesting. There are two types of the harvesting: surface runoff harvesting. Yes. What is meant by surface runoff harvesting? In the surface runoff harvesting, in urban area, rainwater flows away from the surface of the runoff. So that is the one of the technique. The urban area rainwater flows away from the surface of the runoff. So that is the runoff could not be and used recharging of the aquifers and adapting the appropriate methods can be applied. So next, rooftop rainwater harvesting. In the rooftop harvesting, what happens? It is a system to catching the water in the falls of the above, as is shown in the previously in the diagram. Let us see that one. The water which comes from the above, it can be collected, and rainwater due to the pipeline, the water can be flows from the top to the bottom. So it is the rainwater which is collecting the process in the rooftop. So the wastewater which is waste can be going to the drainage, can be collected of each of the droplet and can be stored and can be utilized for the reuse. And the rainwater collecting runoff land use and either may storage or diversion of the artificial recharge of the system can be applied. So this method is less expensive, and if the implemented properly helps to inaugurating the groundwater level of the area. Next, the components of the rooftop rainwater harvesting. Let us see the components of the rainwater harvesting. Let us see that the diagram is very well. As I have seen, the water which is collected in the top as shown will be in the sides of the pipeline and also give the some of directly which is entered in the water in the gardening, and some of the water can be collected in this tank. What happened? These can be used for some of the tanks. Some of the tanks can be storage or reusing the water from the purposes as we discussed in the previous slides, as the gardening type flushing of the just like that, etc. Next subcatchment, subcomponent and catchment, transportation and first flush and filtered. That is the rainwater harvesting components, subcomponent. The catchment, in this one, what is meant by catchment? Catchment is nothing but the collecting of the water on particular area, the catch and rainwater harvesting the system. If they may be a terrace, maybe a courtyard, or maybe playground, or even open up the ground. Next, the terms may be a flat RCC or store roof or sloping of the roofs, which is therefore the catchment of the area which actually contributes and rainwater to the harvesting the system. Next, to transportation. How it can be transportation of the rainwater harvesting. Rainwater rooftop harvesting is carried out the downtake of the water pipeline or drains of the storage harvesting of the system. So directly, which means the downtake the pipelines can be removed, can be applied, and it can be stored and can be sent the water from the groundwater level. And also the water pipeline should be UV resistance of the required the capacity to water can be stored in the long time. Next, the water from the sloping roofs could be caught and gutter of the down taken on the pipelines. Next, first flush. So the first flush is used to flush the water and receive in the first shower. Next, the first shower is needs to be flushed off the avoid the containing and rechargeable of the water may be potable or contains of the atmospheric and catchment of the roof. So next, it will also be help to cleaning and other materials can be used and deposited of the roof during the dry seasons, and also provisions of the first rainwater for each of the drain pipe. Next, filter. How it can be filtered. So the filter, there is always some sketching and recording the rooftop rainwater harvesting. Since the doubts of the rise, the rainwater may be contaminated or contaminate the groundwater. No, the remove the possible of the, so applying the different type of the filtration techniques, the roof rainwater can be filtered and also infiltrated to the ground. So mechanism is not adapted. Next, what are the advantages of the rainwater harvesting? That is a very, very important advantages in the rainwater harvesting. So let us see the easy to maintain. Easy to maintain in the sense, just once you have to be provided the pipelines, whenever the rainfalls comes, it automatically works. No need to be maintenance of the, no need to spend the more money for the maintenance purposes. Reduce the water bills. So why? Because the water can be reusing some of the just like the reusing of the toilet and gardening. So the water will be no need to using the bore, and electricity bill automatically reduces. Why? Because these water can be utilized for the gardening purpose or flushing or any other purposes. Next, not a drinking purposes. This can be used secondary user purposes only have to be used. So next, suitable for irrigation. So the storage of the water automatically it can be used for the irrigation purposes, and also reduces the demand on the groundwater. So why? Because as I told, the harvesting techniques can be used storing the water. Automatically the groundwater will be also increases. So that the demand of the groundwater. Demand of the groundwater in the sense we are required more water in the summer. So due to applying the artificial recharge techniques, so automatically the groundwater levels also increases. Next, reduces the floods and soil erosion. The floods and soil erosion is nothing but soil erosion will be the reduces the floods and why? Because the water also be filtered to avoid the floods and erosion of the water in the to heavy floods. Heavy floods can be reduced by applying the techniques, can be rainwater harvesting techniques. Can be used for the non-drinking the. So it can be several type of non-drinking purpose. As I told, it can be used for the non-drinking purposes only. Next, what are disadvantages of the rainwater harvesting? The disadvantages of rainwater harvesting nothing but unpredictable rainfall. So we cannot be protect the rainfall, maybe whichever it comes, and that is the main problem of the disadvantage of the rainwater harvesting. Next, initial cost. Why initial cost? Just nothing but you should have to provide the pipelines and also filters can be provided, and harvesting pits can be provided. Due to the some materials can be also used for the rainwater harvesting. Next, regular maintenance will be the note, but this is not a difficult, but regularly have to be maintained the techniques. Next, a certain type of the maybe seep chemicals and any dropping of the points, animal droppings and storage limits of the rainwater, disadvantages of the rainwater harvesting. Next, benefits of the rural area. So especially rainwater harvesting, what are the benefits in the rural area? What happens? The rainwater harvesting can be provided in reliable water sources for the agricultural and rural of the regions. In the supporting of the rural, what happens? The local communities by reducing the need to long distance of the water transportation. So that is the one of the benefits of the rural water area, water transportation. Next, in the practice of the promotes suitable farming practices and enhances the food security for the in this village areas, the rural areas can be the reusing the water and also the groundwater due to the groundwater level increasing, also enhancing the food security and for the agricultural purposes. Next, benefits in the urban area. So what is the benefits in the urban area? What happens in the urban areas? Rainwater will be the runoff will be the more. Why? Because everybody knows that the runoff will be the increase due to the concrete and floor levels. Next, decreasing the stormwater runoff and flooding, and decreasing the runoff stormwater is nothing but the rainwater which is mixed some impurities due to the rain time. So what happened? The runoff will be the flooding will be the reduces by the by using the harvesting the techniques. So next, it can be provided and alternative water sources and for the non-potable uses. As I know, the potable non-potable uses means that it cannot be used for drinking water purposes and it can be used for secondary uses. Some of the next, irrigation and toilet flushing, as we discussed in the previous, can be used. Next, implement of the system can be also be used lower water oils and residual of the beginners. Now here some of the techniques have to be provided here. The rainwater harvesting from the industry's water, from any other water, the soil, and it can be also absorb the water and it can be filtered due to the urbanization of the area. So due to the increasing urbanization, what happens? The rainfall also be decreasing, and also decreasing, what happens? The concrete top increasing automatically due to urbanization. What happens? The water level will be automatically decreasing. Most of the apartments will be the suffered for the groundwater. So paying the thousands of the rupees for the spending the money for the groundwater. So that is the benefits of the urban areas to store the water, to collect the water, and also applying the techniques of the rainwater harvest. Next conclusion is the rainwater. So harvesting essential for the suitable of the water management is very, very important nowadays. So water is very precious. Everybody knows that. So the both everybody suffered in the rural area as well as urban area is very, very suffered due to the lack of water is availability. So the benefit significance of the practices and also the collective of the effort, policy making and community engagement and technology will be key to be success for the rainwater harvesting. So these are the briefly about the rainwater harvesting and thank you so much. We will meet another topic, interesting topic. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.